This hangout is on air. Yay! Okay, awesome. So let's get started. How about each of us take turns and go through our lesson? Who would like to go first?
Let's see. We're doing our the outline things that we did.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. When you said lesson, I was like, okay, dang it, I did not a lesson.
Like a lesson, professional. Okay. So whoever would like to go first, go for it.
All right. I guess I can. Or go ahead, Alex.
Sorry, you can totally go first. I was just going to say, mine is like really long, and I did mine. I noticed that I did it a little different than you guys. I don't know if it's because I went through like every question. But do we want to like hit the main points of like each lesson that we've had, or do we want to go through it all? I don't know. However you want to do it.
Well, they're supposed to be different, so it's totally fine. It's
okay.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. So let's just start. Kelly, you said you wanted to go?
I can go. That's fine.
All right.
So under the family life education stuff, about getting myself involved, I said I see myself getting involved by becoming a part of one of the family life education companies in my area to strengthen marriages and families and promoting and bringing awareness to the threats of families to those who need to hear it. As far as taking family life educations to those who really need to hear it, I said I feel that I can help expand the education to these undeserved groups with my ability to reach out to others. I have experience with setting up service to homeless shelters and even have some knowledge of social media that I can help to get the education to the people in need. It says drawing upon scholarly sources and credibility in materials. Having a strong foundation of scholarly resources help give the program the credibility it needs. There are many that will teach what they know from their own personal experiences, but without the credibility, we do not know for sure if what they are teaching is correct. When one has the credibility backing their teachings, they will have better success both with their class they teach and with the results of such class. And then under developing a family life education program, there are 3 levels of prevention: primary, secondary, and tertiary. The level of prevention that I plan to use in my workshop is secondary prevention. In my workshop, I would like to help couples identify their core problem, identifying what it is that is causing the dishonesty and communication problems in their marriages. Problems that occur from an educator providing therapeutic remediation. A family life educator does not have the credentials or knowledge to provide therapeutic remediation. Family life educators have the proper knowledge, skills, and resources to help educate families in needs. Stage 1 problem analysis, identifying the need of the target audience. It is vital to thoroughly identify the need and problem of the target audience. In order for your target audience to really understand, learn, and take away the purpose of the family life education program, their need and problem needs to be addressed. In stage 2, program design, consulting the target audience. By consulting with your target audience in creating your workshop, it lets the target audience know that this workshop is going to address their concerns and will help the target audience be interested in attending. Marketing the family life education. It says, I actually found marketing to be more complicated than I had expected. I was mostly just expecting to see something written about flyers and advertisements, but it went beyond and talked about more how to get those advertisements out and who to talk to. The emphasis on assessing and understanding the specific needs of the target audience is an important aspect of marketing. It is also important to know who your target audience is, so you can focus your advertisements and marketing plan to attract the specific audience. Without knowing your target audience, you end up with a generalized ad that no one really cares for. My marketing experiences. There have been a few different things that I have done in my life with marketing. I have found the things that work the best is when I know my target audience and focus on getting my information to them. I have found word of mouth to be especially helpful. The times that I have relied solely on flyers and ads, I didn't have much success as when I spread the word through word of mouth. connections I can use to market with. I plan on using my ward and stake and also getting the word out through my workout group and friends on Facebook. Effective learning and teaching. My approach to family life education. I had to ponder this for a while, and I am still not 100% sure on which approach I would like to take. I feel the facilitator approach is the one I would most likely go with, but I almost feel that the approach I can use can change while I'm doing my workshop. If I'm feeling that or seeing the need to use a different approach to help my students in my workshop to best comprehend the points that I am hoping to make through this workshop. But I feel that the facilitator approach is best because everyone has something they can teach us about any given topic, especially when it comes to marriage and family relations, since everyone has their own experiences when it comes to relationships they can share and learn from. My beliefs. I believe the doctrine of the family in protecting the family from being pulled apart because of the wiles of the world. Family life education helps advocate for that exact thing. I believe that family is created from God and essential for our salvation. Values and beliefs that guide me in working with others. I believe that every person is fighting his or her own battle in this life. I believe that even if someone is from the same household, that they live a completely different experience than their siblings or spouse. I believe that we have the ability to help one another through each of our experiences in life. There are, in most things, more than one way to reach a goal or potential in life, and things to be learned from each. Motivation. A desire to help motivate people a desire is needed to help motivate people. If people cannot find anything in them that would give them the desire to continue, there will be no motivation for them. Desire comes from within and in connection with the goals that the individual has for themselves. To help motivate people, you must first find what your target audience would desire as an outcome, which outcome can then motivate them to proceed. That was it.
That's really good. I was really, I can tell you're nervous, but yeah, all of it was wonderful.
Kelly, what's your topic on?
Communication in marriage. I'm actually wanting to focus on the core problem, why there's a communication problem instead of just fixing the communication problem.
Oh, cool. So how are you finding those specific people for your workshop?
I was planning on using a lot of Facebook actually, because originally when we first found out about this assignment, I actually went on my Facebook and told my Facebook friends that I'm going to be doing a workshop on marriage and family, and asked what people would actually prefer to hear and learn about.
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 4 people comment, and each one commented on communication in marriage.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I decided to kind of go that way and try to focus on my friends on Facebook to see if I can invite any of them to come. But I'm also going to target my ward, because I'm in a marriage and family, or not a marriage and family, a young married ward. Yeah, I'm in the married student ward, and so there's a lot of newlyweds and people that I believe would benefit from this workshop. So
in the same way. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm excited for you.
But we'll see how it turns out. I feel like I'm got way more to do to prepare than time, but
yeah, me too. Same. That's cool.
Well, Alexandra, did you want to go next, or would you like me to go next?
It doesn't matter. Whatever you want. You tell me.
Okay, I will go next. I started with the family life education, the capacity I see myself involved in. I really love people. I'm sure that's why, a big part of why you guys have gotten into your degree of marriage and family studies, because you care about people. Whether it be in a person's home, one-on-one, or in a group, spontaneous or planned, I feel it's important to be prepared for both. There is a need in communities that are at the greatest risk for experiencing family and societal problems. Growing up in communities where there is a need for education on all levels within the family unit, I have personally felt. And in my family life education experience, I did in my family and community relations class I took last semester. I noticed how important community relationships are with families and helping them improve, especially families that are struggling. So that's what I feel is really important. There are abilities and expertise and strength that we have to offer in order to really meet the needs of those that need family life education. So it's important to care about people and to see them the way the Savior does, or at least try to. There is importance of a strong theoretical and research-based foundation when teaching family life education. Hold on just a minute. Are you okay? Okay, go like this. I'm sorry. I'm really usually.
No, you're fine.
I just can't avoid families sometimes. Okay. So it's important to have truth and to be able to support that truth. And that's why you have to have a lot of theoretical research base as your foundation. And I learned that in my research methods class. I don't know if any of you experienced that like awakening, but if you don't have a foundation for what you feel is right, other people aren't going to understand it or relate to it or agree with it. So that's really important. There has to be reason and clarity and understanding how research methods and the science of theory supports family life education in order to be a good family life educator. It's important to use family life education as a preventative in the community. You have to stop the problem from occurring before it starts. I would rather be proactive than reactive to problems in life. I'm sure that you all feel the same way. I'd rather nip them in the bud and save others from experiencing unnecessary heartache and frustration in life. And that's where I see family life education for me and what I want to do. We also need to stop problems from escalating. Conflict is a reality in life. I'm learning that in my conflict negotiation class right now. And it's important to use it in order to help people progress to become better. We can become better husbands and fathers and wives and mothers, and we'll see success and growth as we're able to stop problems from escalating by understanding them. I see my greatest impact as a family life educator at the primary level. Primary prevention is the best place for me personally. And the topic that I'm choosing to work on is sex education in the home. And I feel like if that occurs within the home, there's a lot of prevention that can help my family from reaching other situations that they don't need to deal with. So that's where I see. I also agree. I like, Kelly, that you mentioned how family life education is not about therapy, it's more about educating. We're not equipped to help people as counselors. We just don't have the education to do that or the expertise. But what we do have are the ability to find the resources and have the skills to teach people how to help themselves through education. So that's what we need to focus on. Problem analysis and program design. It's important to identify the problem before educating people. If you don't know your audience and how you can help them, you're not going to be able to educate them. So you have to know your audience. And that really helps to understand yourself. I think if you aren't able to feel the education within yourself, like you also need to be the learner as well as the teacher, then those that you're trying to reach aren't going to feel the effect of it. And when you involve your audience in putting together a program or a workshop, they are more likely to respond positively to what it is you wish to educate them on if you're passionate about it and if they're passionate about it too. Understanding the target audience influences how you market your family life education. As you get to know those that you wish to teach, you'll understand what they respond to so that they can best be reached. I've had some past experiences with marketing products as it relates to family life education. I've really been involved in the ARP program. I don't know if any of you know about the ARP program, the Addiction Recovery Program. How I got involved with it because I've had personal experience in my family where it needed to be used and utilized to help family in my immediate family and extended family. And it was mostly done by word of mouth. The ARP program, they'll have flyers every so often, but because it's such a taboo topic of addiction, it basically was word of mouth. But once you get in there and you understand the program, it's so easy to inspire and encourage other people to join in as well. And so that's what I'll mostly be doing with marketing my program will be word of mouth. I'll use Facebook as well and email and such, but it will be mostly word of mouth in the communities that I plan on teaching in. So approaches to family life education, you have to look at the existing structures or connections that are already in place. I've been to a lot of parenting education classes in the community, and they're amazing, they're awesome. And so if we're able to build on what already works, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's important to do as you are building up your education program or your workshop or family relations program, whatever you're planning on doing. When it comes to expert or facilitator approach, I feel that both are important. In order to facilitate discussion and education and growth, you have to be, in a way, an expert in your field and what you're teaching. It comes back to that research and having that foundation. So to be credible to your audience. So I feel like it's vital to have both in your family life education. For me personally, I agree that the family is so central to our society, to the ecology of a child. It's so essential. And we have to live what we know. And if I didn't have the passion for what I know to be true as far as the family is an eternal and sacred unit, then I wouldn't be able to inspire other people to feel that same way about their families. We have to go at it with honesty and openness and love and kindness and charity and hope and patience. It's so important to do that in our education. And that's how I want to motivate those that I work with. I feel like you can inspire people if you're inspiring. You can persuade people if you yourself are persuasive. Now, we can't demand this kind of education to happen. We have to really compel people to want to have this themselves. And so as we structure and as we look at our target audience of what they need, we'll be able to best fit their needs and reach people and have success in our education programs that we're putting together. And that's it from me.
That's great.
Uh-huh.
All right, Alexandra.
All right, are you guys ready for my novel?
Go for it.
Okay, so I kind of just like did this outline, just kind of writing my thoughts. So they're based on the questions, but anyway. So family life education and personal involvement. So I see my personal involvement in family life education mainly taking place within my home, my church, and my community. So I love this class because I feel like it's preparing us for all sorts of situations, regardless if we're going to be out and active or we're going to be in our home and active. So I found that it was really interesting that the definition in our reading of family life education has never come to a complete consensus. And I do feel that the definition of it being education mainly to adults outside of a classroom setting that is meant to strengthen marriage and homes truly does define what I hope to do and accomplish. And I do not want to do it, me personally, I don't want to do it for pay, rather as a service to the parents and families in my community. That's kind of what I'm a little bit involved in. I'm a resident assistant here at my apartment complex, and my husband and I live up at the U, and we're part of the married family student housing. So I work on the board with a bunch of other moms and dads who are students and who are seeking to make a difference in the community, and I love that. In order to strengthen marriages and families through family life education, I do feel that I have a good amount of strengths to contribute. I'm passionate about families and their role in society. I do have a firm belief that the family unit is vital for humanity's existence and progress. I have the ability, and with preparation, to speak on controversial issues and topics that relate to the family, with the hope of not being controversial and argumentative, but rather to help others better understand the prime ways that families can function. Strong theoretical research and scholarly-based research, I believe, is really what solidifies and confirms the teachings that we seek to have in family life education. In the gospel, eternal truths function the same way. You can't simply say that, maybe a woman should have the priesthood because God loves women too, although you are taking the truth that God loves women just as he does men. There is an eternal truth to that God has given priesthood to men, and for men for a purpose, and that cannot be changed. In our workshops and in all the education that we're doing, it's so important that we are looking for the concrete evidences and the concrete information that will really solidify what we're saying so that we can be a trusted resource for those in our workshops and in our audiences. The 5 issues of there's professionalism, program rigor, program effectiveness, marketing, research, and then marketing, reaching the neediest audiences. These are what was kind of mentioned in our reading as issues that needed to be bettered in family life education. And I think that with these in mind, I will plan on making sure that each of these is my top priority. And in reference to program rigor, there's a quote that kind of sums up what I feel we need to do, and it says, family life educators will advance the trustworthiness and usefulness of the field to the public to the degree they follow rigorous practices in the design, implementation, and evaluation of their programs. So designing comprehensive family life education programs. The type of family life education that I hope to provide is primary prevention. I feel that it is not superior to secondary or tertiary prevention in any way, and like each of these preventions, it provides unique support and education to families. I believe that when you can prevent an issue or risk from occurring, you should do everything possible to prevent it. This can relate to health issues, mental issues, and much more. But for my focus, I would like to give education and resources to families, primarily couples, that will allow them to help themselves prevent issues from occurring in the first place. Therapeutic remediation is meant for those who need tertiary prevention, not so much primary and secondary. Many issues can arise when remediation is being given without proper training. Such issues can be that too much is being divulged about one's life. I have like so many typos in here, guys. I'm so sorry. One's life that is meant to be divulged. So I've seen that a lot when people start to confide in one another because they think that they have the professional credentials, and that leads to feelings being divulged and advice being given that is not on a professional level, and it can do more harm than good. So stage 1, problem analysis, is absolutely critical to the success of any family life education program. I think that it's crucial that we identify the needs of each individual and the group as a whole if there's to be any real success or difference made in the community. As a family life educator, we must understand that opinions, for the most part, are already formed in the audience's minds. So we need to go in with that open mind that most of these people that we're teaching are adults and they have experiences. And so we kind of talk about this a little bit later, but we can't go in there just expecting to educate purely and have them take in everything. We need to understand that they already have experiences, and we need to add upon those or help them be the ones to change their minds on certain issues. Let's see. There was this quote from the book that just kind of talked about the 4 areas or the 4 elements that will really solidify our research criteria. So one was the ideas are grounded in sound scholarship, so they're good scholarly resources. 2, ideas ring true or fit with our values and instincts. 3, ideas fit and incorporate the knowledge, culture, expertise, and lived experience of the learners. And 4, ideas work in practice. So I really like that. That was kind of like the circle diagram that was seen in our reading. Stage 2, program design, requires consulting with the audience in order to better identify their needs. There are 3 types of needs that do not require invasive or in-depth interviews to know the needs of the audience. First, we have the felt needs. These are what they say they need. Questionnaires give great insights to these felt needs that might be prominent in the audience, so they can answer on the questionnaire and we can know exactly what they need. Second, we have ascribed needs. Those are the needs that family life educators can see applied to the general audience rather than a few select members. By looking at scholarly literature, you can find data that may apply to the audience you have because of similarities that they both share. And then you have future needs, which are those I feel we tend to assume all too often, and they are the needs that involve skills and abilities that are required to fulfill future tasks and callings. Marketing family life principles, practices, and programs. So I really like this quote. It says, effective businesses and organizations often spend a significant amount of money to persuade persons in these markets to buy their product. The field of outreach, family life education, has a different product to sell than most businesses. knowledge, principles, and practices important for enriching individual, marriage, and family life. And that is exactly what our goal is. So we have to know who those people will be that are searching and willing to receive education that they will know will enrich their lives. The marketing must appeal to them and make them think that they do need this or want this specific education. I believe that when holding a family life education workshop, it's crucial that we are marketing specific education that we are seeking to give rather than just being very vague about it. I do understand this is hard without having a set audience and seeing them face to face to really know their needs, but marketing will really help us get a good amount of people who want to learn. So the experiences that I have, I currently work at a solar company, and I'm the head of the Department of Referral Sales. This is an entirely new program that I am in charge of heading, and I'm in charge of marketing it to our new customers so that they will give us referrals and they will also receive benefits for doing well. So I have to look at what kind of incentives we can give to our customers that will help them know that this is a good thing that will benefit them and it will benefit us as well. So I have to do a lot of research on this. I do research trying to find out what has worked for other companies, what is in something that's an incentive for people. And in family life education, we need to do the same thing. We need to know our market. We need to know the programs that we're offering to them. We need to know the needs that they have and make it appealing to them. No one wants to come to a boring seminar that has a boring name or anything like that. That's just kind of a black and white piece of paper. They really want to see something bright and cheerful, especially because what we're doing in family life education is we're offering light into their life. We're offering enlightenment, knowledge, those kinds of things that are really meant to help them and make their lives better. So for my workshop, I'm focusing on the marital preparation that should occur before a baby comes in, mainly for these couples, in my ward at church. So this is kind of the resources that I'm utilizing. We have over 10 couples who are expecting a baby between July and December, including myself. 8 of these couples are first-time parents, I already said that, but in addition to church, our church boundaries consist of all married student housing for the University of Utah, and around 3/4 of the students are not LDS, yet they have the same needs as a couple to prepare for children to come into the family. So because I'm a resident assistant, that means that I have the ability to market my workshop by word of mouth only. I can't go putting out flyers, but I can market by word of mouth to those in charge of each area that we live in, and this gives me a greater potential audience, and I plan on using all the resources possible. So then on the final, what we did this week on Chapter 1 in the Appendix A, I put that the approach of a family life educator that I subscribe to is the collaborator approach. So further down, I guess, like you were saying, Katie, like there's the expert and the, I can't remember what it's called. That makes me sound really dumb. Yeah, so I kept reading down and there were so many approaches. I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to figure out which one? But I really liked the collaborator approach. So the collaborator approach is where the instructor comes with a set agenda, comes with everything really prepared, but also is ready to let the audience facilitate and let them contribute because of their life experiences. So I feel like this one most involves the audience and is most fitting for my specific workshop that I'll be doing. And I believe when the educator acknowledges the fact that their audience has great information to contribute and facilitates that learning and that sharing, there's going to be a lot more interaction between the audience members and the educator. And the organization of this approach is extremely crucial to me as well. I like having a set agenda, and I like being willing to adapt to the needs of the audience. It's very much like a mission. I do recognize that for certain seminars, like you were saying, Katie, as well, that there are other approaches that work best to suit other people's needs. I think you were both saying that. And I think that's great that we're willing to have these different approaches based on the needs of our audiences. I strongly believe that family is an essential unit of society. I believe that family is defined in so many different ways today, and it can get so extremely confusing. And it can become very difficult for people to know where to look for good resources. And that's what we're here for. I think that circumstances may prevent the ideal of a husband and a wife, and children being together, you know, due to a death in the family or divorce, whatever it may be. But the family is there, I believe, to uplift and build one another and strengthen each other in an increasingly wicked world. And we, as family life educators, really can help fortify these families by giving them the proper tools and education that they need. So my values come strongly from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, especially their document, The Family, A Proclamation to the World. This document is the main focus of my beliefs and my values and the reasoning behind how I treat and interact with others. And this document is the motivation I have for becoming a family life educator for my community. My values and beliefs are deeply rooted within my religion and my previous education that I've received. While studying about family life and family relationships in college, I've really felt that I have been so privileged to better understand and better have my eyes open to why people act the way that they do, why people say things the way that they do, and how it is that we can be better understanding and really facilitate the different personalities of every person so that it can be a benefit for all parties. And as a family life educator, I feel that I do play a huge role in the motivation process for my audience. First of all, if they see me as having a completely different definition of family than they do, or if they see me having contradicting views and controversial views than they do, they're not going to want to listen, and they're not going to want to agree with what it is that I have to say. I feel that I need to motivate my audience by showing them that we are on the same team. We're all reaching for the same goal, which is a happy family, a happy spouse, children, and personal life. And I feel that in order to motivate others, they need to believe that my heart is in it. They need to believe that we truly are passionate about what it is that we're teaching. And when we do that, almost every single time, people are going to leave with their hearts changed because they have felt your heart or my heart in this workshop that I hope to do. So that's how I feel like I can motivate others. So there is my novel.
So wonderful.
The collaborators, I'm wondering if that could be discussion based in your lesson, like if you a lot of interaction questions.
Yeah.
I really like that idea.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, ladies, let me stop this.